All right. I think it's already 6 p.m., so I think we can start already. So first and foremost, hello everyone. Good evening to all of you. How are you doing? I hope you had a long and restful weekend ahead, and also hope you had a great time with your family as we spend quite a long weekend before this day. So of course, now I also want to greet you and your loved ones. I hope all of them are also safe and healthy despite everything that's going on with the world today. So thank you for spending your Wednesday evening with us by attending this webinar about financial and investment literacy. I am from First Metro Securities, the stock brokerage house of the Metro Bank Group. What I love about our company is that we come to work every day to do something we love. We put your future first by empowering individuals and institutions to attain their financial goals. And we envision to be the largest and most trusted Philippine investment solutions partner. It's our honor and pleasure to serve you this evening. Most especially us from the business development and market education team, we get to inspire people to upgrade their money management skills and create awareness of investment opportunities that are legitimate, affordable, and accessible. In fact, the fun part here is trying to figure out all the different ways that we can do this. We used to conduct these sessions on site and face to face. However, due to the pandemic, we shifted to a webinar format. And it's quite amazing how technology enables us to add value wherever you are located. And in that regard, I'd like to know the demographics of our attendees this evening. Can you please chat where you are joining us from so that we will know? I think we have around 63 participants this evening, quite a good number. So can you please chat where you are joining us from, what city you're in or what country you're in right now? Ayan, we have here some OFWs, no? Si Irvin from SG, that's Singapore. We also have Paul from Laguna. We also have Geraldine from Cebu, no? So Bisaya, no? So may gabi sa inyo diha. We also have Linton from Pasig. Another OFW here, si Miles, no? From Qatar. And Mirafe from Makati. Quite a number of you from Manila in the Luzon area. And we also have here Sir John from CDO, no? Cagayan de Oro, no? So Sir John, no? Chada bagyahapon dia sa CDO. I hope things are also good there. Despite na after yung mga baha, no? So daming news that was circulated. We also have people from Baguio, no? Si Mitch, no? So yan. So people from Makati, Calamba, Pangasinan, Qatar, Rizal. Ayan. We also have people from Davao. We have here Miss Hazel. Ayan. So thank you, no? Ayan. More OFW. Some are even from Africa. Ayan. Thank you for your participation. Ayan. Thank you, no? Later, no, I'll be asking more questions. So hope you get to participate. That's my only way to know that you're still on the other side of the screen as we do this virtual seminar. Now we acknowledge that this is the demographics of stock market investors in the Philippines as of 2021. Now imagine for a country with over 100 million in population, there's only 1.62 million stock market accounts. So that's only around 1 to 2% of the population who are actually investing in the stock market. Most of them at 1.5 million have online accounts. So they prefer an online account rather a traditional account. Around 80% are locally employed, but there has been gaining interest from OFWs and even students. So I think that's quite evident here in the first question, no? Where you are located. So we have here some OFWs who are actually interested to learn more about investing. Majority are still from Metro Manila at 75.6%, but the rest of the country has yet to catch up. Here in Mindanao, we only represent 3.5%. So I think that's also evident in the poll, no, or in the chat box, because I think most of you are from Luzon, but konti lang po yung from Visayas and in Mindanao. So if I may ask our attendees tonight, do you guys have stock trading or any form of investment accounts already? Can you please chat yes or no? Do you have a stock trading or any form of investment account already? Yeah, we have here tons of people are said yes. Yan. Yan, yes. Yan. I think they're quite proud na meron na silang investment account or stock trading account. So congratulations to all of you. And I'm actually very humbled, no, that even though you already have existing stock trading or investment accounts, you still decided to join this night's webinar. Kasi usually people who just want to get a feel of the investing world, they start with this basic session before they forward to opening an account or having a stock trading or investment account. So I'm humbled that despite na meron na kayong mga accounts, you still attended tonight's webinar. And I think, no, and I hope na meron pa rin kayo mapupulot sa session natin tonight. So thank you for that. And I think for those na hindi sumagot, no, I would assume na wala pa po kayong stock trading or any form of investment accounts, and that's okay. That's actually the purpose of this webinar tonight, no, for you to have a feel, no, or to have an idea. Ano ba yung kailangan natin before we start investing? And of course, what are the legitimate investments available? All right, that's what we're going to learn this evening. And because of this, no, konti pa lang, no, out of 75, I think around 20 lang yung nag-respond na meron sila. So I would assume yung 50 wala pa. And that's actually the reason why we, the Business Development and Market Education team, conduct financial and investment literacy sessions. We are regularly invited by private, public, and academic institutions such as Gardenia Philippines, Department of Trade and Industry, University of the Philippines, the Philippine Stock Exchange, the Global Filipino Investors, the Filipino Times, Randall Chongsun's Investment Conference, the Bureau of the Treasury, the Department of Education, and Embassy of the Philippines. We have also improved the overall webinar experience by gamifying our sessions through an online competition. So I hope you were able to attend in some of our gamified webinars. And like, I think the trivia night, which we did a couple of months before. So I hope no, you get to join these types of sessions para you will learn and at the same time have fun. So this brings us to our webinar tonight, no, which is financial and investment. Anak na pag meron na agad akong an above average paying job but hindi pa ako nakapag-ipon ng pera, and I was even drowning in debt. However, other people didn't seem to have any problem when it comes to handling their finances. So I asked myself, ano ba ang ginagawa ng mga taong may pera na hindi ginagawa ng mga taong baon sa utang? Those questions led me to become a personal finance and investment literacy advocate. My passion and purpose is to help more Filipinos appreciate the value of saving their hard-earned money and consider investing to achieve their financial goals. I am regularly invited as resource speaker by private companies, government institutions, schools and organizations to conduct seminars and webinars. But yung circle of competence ko lang only revolves around the topics of saving, budgeting, financial goal setting, investing in stocks, pooled funds, bonds, and active trading using technical analysis. But for tonight's webinar, we're going to talk about the following. So first, I'm going to teach you how to budget and improve our cash flow. Second, we will learn how to protect ourselves in the next crisis or life's uncertainties. And third, how to plan and achieve our life goals. And lastly, what are the available and suitable investments for us? So if you have any questions regarding the presentation, feel free to ask them in the Q&A of the Zoom panel. We will answer them later during the live Q&A portion after the presentation. So I hope you guys are ready. And yeah, can you please chat ready if you're okay to start? Right, are you still there? Yeah, thank you, Sir Elmer. Thank you, Miss Nikki, Sir John, Sir Paul. Ayan, they're all ready. All right, keep them coming. All right, thank you for your participation. So first, let me share to you my story. I used to have an above average paying job, but for some reason, I kept getting caught in this cycle. Like many of us, I work very hard to earn income, but I easily get into a lifestyle of instant gratification. Bumibili ako ng gamit kahit hindi ko naman talaga kailangan, and gumagastos ako kahit hindi ko pa siya afford. Paminsan nga, nakakalimutan ko rin si Judith, no? Yung due date ng kuryente, tubig, sasakyan, bahay at iba pa. Mga responsibilidad natin ito, kaya kailangan natin tong bayaran. Kaya kapag napasobra ng gastos, I live beyond my income and wala akong naiipon. Pag na-short or nagkaroon ng emergency, wala akong choice kundi mangutang. And of course, para mabayaran po yung interest sa utang, kailangan ko mas kumayod sa trabaho at maghanap ng extra source of income. Now, let's try to ask ourselves this. Sa tingin nyo ba, this is a sustainable cycle to achieve our financial goals? Again, if we are in this cycle, I'm not sure if you're also in this right now or baka na-experience ito before. If you are in this cycle, sa tingin nyo po ba this is a sustainable one for us to achieve our financial goals? And I think all of us would agree that this is not a sustainable cycle. You might think na parang thought process lang to siya or this is just some form of theory. But from the Consumer Finance Survey ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, nakita nila na 61% of adult Filipinos ay magkaparehas lang ang income at expenses. Kaya siguro sinasabi ng iba na sakto-sakto lang ang kanilang sahod. 33% naman ay mas malaki ang kanilang expenses kesa income. Kaya prone sila na magka-utang. Buti na lang, may 6% ng Filipinos who earn more than they spend. And of course, these are statistics. So we would probably belong in one of these three categories. So for reflection po siguro we can ask ourselves, saan ba tayo na category na ngayon? So based on how we manage our money right now, how is our income compared to our expenses right now? And of course, after knowing where we are right now, what category do we want to belong to? So saan category ba nating gusto? Alright, siguro for me to know, no? Siguro can you please type in the color, no? Is it blue, red, or green, no? So which part do you like to be in? Do you want to be part of the red team, the blue team, or the green team? Ayan, thank you for your participation, no? Of course, we all want to be part of the green team kasi gusto natin na yung income natin mas malaki compared sa ating expenses, no? But of course, that is our goal right now. But the distance between our dreams and our reality is called action. To get there, kailangan po nating mag-set ng financial goal. So I suggest you take these 3 steps to achieve your financial goals. So una, hanapin muna natin ng paraan how to better manage our hard-earned money. So marami tayong pwedeng gawin dito. Pwede nating tingnan kung paano gumagalaw ang pera. Pwede din natin pagplanuhan kung anong gagawin sa pera through budgeting. Kung meron naman tayong utang, we should also know paano natin to i-manage. Kasi again, hindi naman lahat ng utang pangit. Meron namang mga good utang, meron din mga bad utang. So first and foremost, set up po muna natin yung money management skills natin through cash flow and budgeting and of course, debt management. So with this, I'm going to share with you 5 easy steps to better money management. So for better appreciation po, we can do this as an exercise. So you can get any writing material kasi sobrang dali lang itong i-follow. And you can walk with me through these steps. So we can write down a very simple steps lang for us to take note and of course understand. So let's go to first step. That is to determine our take-home pay. So this is very easy to do kasi alam natin kung magkano yung expected na sahod natin, which we actually get regularly. And usually naman, konti lang naman yung fluctuations yan if we have additional pay or we have some deductions. But we have a benchmark how much we receive every month as our take-home pay. So for example, we have for this presentation, let's use 20,000 pesos as our take-home pay example. Now, come to think of it, ano ba usually yung ginagawa natin pagdating ng sahod? Most of the time, ang una nating naiisip ay kung saan natin to pwedeng gastusin. Paminsan nga, no, hindi pa dumadating ang sahod, alam natin kung saan siya paglalaan. And of course, ano yung bibilhin natin for that money. Tapos sasabihin natin sa sarili na kung ano man yung matitira, yun lang ang ipon natin. Now from our experience, when we do this type of cash flow, no, kung ganito yung flow ng pera natin, nauna yung expenses before our savings, may natitira ba usually when we follow this equation? No, I'm not sure ano yung current status ninyo, no, or ano yung current style ninyo when it comes to handling your cash flow. But from my experience, when I did this, most of the time wala po talagang naiiwan. Most of the time nagagastos lang din po siya lahat. Now I understand na baka inclined tayo gumastos kasi yun lang alam natin gawin sa pera as of this moment. Masarap din naman talaga sa pakiramdam ang gumastos. Pero we have to realize that our expense is another person's income. When I came by this quote, no, parang dito ako talaga namulat, no, why I should think better when it comes to spending my money. Kasi nga, we have to understand na lahat po ng gastos natin, income po yan ng ibang tao. And by that virtue, alam po natin kung sino yung lamang and sino yung talunan. Of course, mas lamang yung taong kumikita kaysa sa taong gumagastos. Again, our expense is another person's income. Sa ginagawa natin ngayon, we prioritize the income of others through our expenses before saving for ourselves and our future. So how do we go about this? So here's my first tip for you. That is to pay ourselves first. No? So from our hard-earned allowance or our income, be it you're a student or you're an earning individual already, unahin natin itabi ang ating savings. Right? And kung ano man ang matitira, yun lang ang gagamitin nating panggastos. And sa ganitong paraan, meron talaga tayong maiipon sa income natin, and this helps us live below our needs. Alright? Again po, from our income, we suggest that you take out your savings first before you spend a single peso. Because when you do this, this is the only way for us na meron talagang matitira. Kasi we save a certain amount before we spend a single peso. So here's my next tip for you. It's not about how much money you earn, but how much money you save. Paminsan kasi naiisip natin na hindi tayo nakakapag-ipon dahil sa level ng sahod natin. To some degree, may advantage naman din po talaga kung malaki yung sahod natin. Pero again, aanhin mo yung malaking sahod mo if hindi ka pa rin nakakapag-ipon dahil mataas din yung level ng lifestyle, bills at expenses mo. Mas mabuti pa nga po yung mas mababa yung sahod pero nakapagtabi siya ng certain percentage kada buwan. Again, it's not about how much money you earn, but how much money you save. We can come to think of our income as the one, yung tubig na lumalabas sa faucet natin. Tapos yung wealth natin or yung wallet natin or yung savings account natin is the bucket. Of course, no? Ngayon, marami pa tayong expenses, no? So marami pa pong butas yung bucket natin. So what we're trying to do right now is to minimize those expenses. So nagpa-plug tayo ng mga leaks or ng mga holes. And of course, ang goal naman talaga nun is para mas marami tayong ma-retain na ipon or savings natin. Of course, hindi naman din talaga yan completely, no? That's not realistic if lahat naman talaga as in zero expenses, no? That's impossible in the current situation natin. So we can spend, but the goal here is to just minimize it. No? Minimize yung spending natin para mas marami po tayong maiipon and ma-achieve natin yung mga financial goals natin. Now you might be asking these questions. Ilang porsyento ba ng sahod ang magandang ipon? Ano din ba yung mga techniques to live below our means? This brings us to step number 2, that is to apply the 50-30-20 budgeting. Bago pa dumating ang sahod, again, bago pa po dumating ang sahod, pwede na natin pagplanuhan kung anong gagawin sa pera natin. Ang suggested allocation ay 50% for needs, 30% for wants, tapos 20% to save and invest. So from our example po na 20,000 pesos take-home pay, so 4,000 pesos will be for savings and investments, 10,000 for our needs, and 6,000 pesos for our wants. Alright, so again, depende po sa circumstance niyo, you can just apply this. I understand meron na po tayong budgeting, but for those na wala pa pong mga budgeting strategies or mga techniques, we can start with this 50-30-20 rule of thumb. And you can actually see here, no, from this step, that a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I'm not sure if you have experienced this noon po, no, yung tipong, for example, nasa Petsa de Peligro na po kayo, no, yung 3 to 5 days before your next pay cycle, pagbukas natin sa savings account natin or sa wallets natin, konti na lang yung natitirang pera. I'm not sure if you experience this, no? Pero paminsan napapatanong ba kayo sa sarili ninyo kung saan napunta yung pera? But with this step, no, bago pa dumating yung sahod, alam niyo na po kung saan siya ilalaan. So again, a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. We also have to remember that budgeting is personal, kaya pwede natin baguhin ang suggestions based on our personal circumstances. So let's say you want to give back some of your blessings. You can set aside a portion for charity and donations. If you think it will be good to invest for your future, you can actually increase your budget for investments. If you want to minimize naman yung expenses, you can set aside more for your needs than your wants. Again po, this is flexible, so don't stress yourself if may mga panahon po talaga na things won't go as planned. Ang importante lang po nito is napagplanuhan natin. So it's better to have a plan than having no plan at all. Now, pagdating po ng sahod, we move to step number 3. Put allocated money in separate envelopes or bank accounts. Ang advantage nito is physically separated ang pera. So for example, bibili ka ng groceries, then you take that amount out sa needs envelope. Malalaman mo rin dito if you're still within the budget. No? Just by opening the envelope for that specific allocation, you would know if you're still within budget kasi may enough pa na pera within that envelope. So let's say gusto mo rin dagdagan yung wardrobe mo and let's say may natipuhan ka na dress or pants worth 2,000 pesos when you went to the department store. Again, when you look at your wants envelope, kung meron pang enough na budget to buy that stuff, then go ahead and buy it. Kasi importante naman dito is we have a budget for that specific purpose. And as long as meron pang enough na pera dyan, then you can go ahead and buy it. And if wala naman, if hindi naman po enough yung pera, then hihintayin nyo naman po na may enough siyang laman before you buy that actual item. So from this step, we can actually see that a budget isn't about restricting what you can spend. Kasi paminsan naisip natin na pag nagbabudget tayo, parang linilimitahan natin yung sarili natin. It's not actually about restricting what you can spend, no? Ako, iba yung mindset ko when it comes to budgeting. Budgeting actually gives us permission to spend without guilt or regret. Again, the condition lang is as long as may budget ka for that purpose, then go ahead and buy it. This step might sound easy to execute, but if you're like me na makakalimutin, it will be challenging to maintain the discipline consistently. So save yourself time and effort by automating this process, yung step number 3. You can actually schedule recurring fund transfer transactions using your online banking facilities. Simply instruct your bank to transfer your desired budget to different accounts for a specific purpose. Automating this process ensures na hindi mo siya makakalimutan, and at the same time, automating it encourages disciplined budgeting and makes the experience hassle-free. Now, what I personally do po is from my payroll account, alam ko naman na may dumadating na pera dyan, no? For example, 1530. So what I do there is I set it on fund transfer transaction the next day, no? So one day after the pay cycle, so let's say 1530. So one day after that is 16 and the first day of the month. So meron lang po akong scheduled fund transfer transaction, no, to different accounts for specific purpose. So for example, you have allocation for your charity and donations, then you can set aside that fixed amount every month. Na automated na siya. You don't have to do it by yourself. Okay? Kasi when you do it by yourself kasi, maraming pwedeng pumasok sa utak natin, no? Marami tayong justifications paminsan, no? Baka mas kailangan ko to ngayon kaysa before. Okay? So paminsan ang daming pumapasok sa isip natin na hindi tayo nag-align sa budget natin. So when we do this, when we automate it, nagagawa na siya, no? Very hassle-free and very convenient siya. Okay, so you can set up for that specific purpose for charity and donations. For example, for your discretionary spending for that month, you can also have another account for that. Then, for example, you also have other accounts for, let's say, your savings mo, yung gusto mo na percentage from your savings. So let's say 10-20%, lagay mo doon. And you can automate that using your online banking facilities. All right, and ngayon you can use naman your debit card, no? You can swipe naman using that, and yeah, use your purchases there kasi parang ano na rin siya, parang debit card na rin. All right, and that brings us to the next step, no? Yung habang gumagastos po tayo, we move to step number 4, which is to track our expenses to check for leaks. You can do this manually, no? Like nung college student ako, I used to write it on my logbook pag pinapadala na ako ng allowance ng parents ko. But right now, no, ang dami na actually mobile apps out there for you to be able to track your expenses. Na mas convenient siya kasi we're always on our mobile phones. No, ang dami out there, no. I suggest and encourage you to try out all the different apps out there and find one that suits you. But personally, I've been using Money Lover Spending Manager mobile app, and I've been doing that for the past 6 years already. And sobrang dami niya advantages for me. By doing this step, no, yung checking, no, yung pag-log mo ng lahat ng mga transactions mo, you will be aware of your current financial status kasi frequently mo siya nakikita. Malalaman mo rin kung paano at saan ginastos ng pera because you have to actually log all your expenses and tag it to a certain category. Makikita nyo rin kung saan pwede mag-adjust. Kasi usually nga at the end of a certain cycle, let's say either in a week or in a month, it actually generates a pie chart, no, kung saan ka gumagastos. And of course, by that, no, may visual cue ka for you to be able to know where you can actually adjust sa next cycle na naman. And why do we need to do this? Because we want to avoid na sumobra sa allocated budget. And ito yung maganda, in some apps out there, you can actually set up a budget, no? For example, set up ka ng 10,000 for your needs, 'di ba? So every time that you log an expense that you actually tag doon sa needs na account mo, then it would actually tally, no? Lahat ng expenses for that specific week or for that specific month, depende sa budget mo na period mo. Okay? And it notifies you, 'di ba? For example, umabot ka na sa 80%, umabot na ng 8,000 yung expenses mo for that specific category. It would notify you sa mobile phones nyo that 80% ka na sa budget mo. Tapos pag umabot ka naman sa budget mo, it will also notify you na nasa budget ka na, nasa 10,000 mark ka na. And of course, hindi naman maiwasan, may mga times na nasusobra ka, it would also notify you. Let's say 10% above budget na ka or 20% above budget ka na. And yun lang, yun yung maganda kasi pag nasa mobile phones naman tayo parati, no? At least aware tayo doon sa mga expenses natin. Okay? I know some of you might say na na this is quite medyo hassle siya, medyo hindi tayo sanay dito, no? But siguro if I were to leave you a quote no why we have to do this, because we have to remember to be aware of the little expenses. 'Di ba kahit nga yung mga malalaking ship, kahit may konting butas yan, time will come na lulubog din yung ship na yon. Kahit konti lang yung leak nun. 'Di ba? Kasi it will come to a point na papasok yung tubig paunti-unti and pag umabot na siya sa point na lulubog na siya, it will really sink. Again, beware of little expenses. A small leak can sink a great ship. When we do this step, we would also know if may sobra ka for the period. And I think ito yung most exciting part, no? Ang sarap ng feeling na alam mo na darating na yung sahod mo next day, pero pag tingin mo sa financial status mo, alam mo marami ka pang bala. Okay? You'll be really aware of the financial status mo kung may sobra ka for that period. And that brings us to step number 5. No, but before I move to step number 5, some of you have actually nag-chat kayo na dito sa chat box. I encourage you to put it in the Q&A because later I'll be interacting with you. So baka it will get drowned, no? Hindi ko mabalikan later. Para lang hindi po natin makalimutan, if you have questions, lagay lang po natin sa Q&A ng Zoom panel. Alright, so thank you. No? We have there from Mikael. Or yeah, may iba din people here have recommendations na, so we can discuss them sa live Q&A. Alright, so again, let's go back to step number 5. So step number 5 is to save and invest the difference. No, as I've mentioned a while ago, yung example ko kanina, no, I'm not sure if na-experience ito noon. Yung tipong alam mo na bukas may sahod ka na, tapos pagtingin mo sa wallet mo, may few thousand pesos ka pa or few hundreds of pesos. Ano yung tendency mo pag nangyari yun? Na alam mo bukas may fresh funds ka, tapos pagbukas mo ng wallet mo, meron ka pang pera. Okay? Ano yung tendency natin, no? Yan, no? So tendency natin pag may nakita pa tayong available na pera, tapos alam natin may fresh funds tayo bukas, yung tendency natin is to actually spend it kasi alam natin may bagong pera bukas 'di ba? But hopefully with this step, I was able to inspire you, no, na to save and invest the difference. Kung may sobra ka for the period, idagdag mo yun siya sa savings and investments mo kesa gastusin. This way, mas madali mo actually ma-achieve yung financial goals mo. Alright? So ayan, so let's recap yung 5 easy steps to better money management. So number 1 is to determine your take-home pay. Then apply the 50-30-20 rule of thumb. Then put allocated money in separate envelopes. Number 4, track expenses to check for leaks. And 5, save and invest the difference. Alright, so alam ko po na meron na po tayong mga different na mga money management skills right now. But if I may ask you po, no, how many of these steps are you doing right now? So out of the 5 steps na shinare ko this evening, how many of these are you doing right now? Alright, can you please chat? No? Checkpoint lang, no? I want to check. We have already 105 participants this evening, so thank you. So let me just see some of the chat here. So ito sabi ni Michelle, no? I remember before someone said, money not tracked is money lost. Tama po, no? And kahit ako po, no, I tend to log all my my transactions, all my expenses. Pero nagugulat ako kasi paminsan in a certain period, meron pa rin ako mga mistrack expenses. So yun nga, sinasabi ko sa inyo, no? Ako nga na nagtatrack ako sa expenses ko, may nami-mistrack nga ako. How much more if hindi kayo nagtatrack ng pera niyo, di ba? So likely hindi din kayo aware, no? Baka may leak diyan. And tama, money not tracked is money lost. Tama yan. Thank you for that, Michelle. Ayan. Ayan, thank you, no. May iba sa inyo na nag-chat yung mga steps na ginagawa nila. We have here Aris, no? Ginagawa niya is 1, 2, and 5. So ayan. Si Michelle naman, number 2 and 4 yung ginagawa niya. Loreto, 1, 2, and 5. 4 and 5. 1, 4, and 5. Ayan, 1, 2, and 4. Ayan, dami. Alright, thank you, no? But I'm happy to see na yung common ninyo, most of you are doing already 1, 4, and 5. Okay? Wait lang. Yeah, I think most of you are doing 1, 2, and 5. No, but some of you hindi pa ginagawa yung 3 and 4. But I'm happy to see na marami sa inyo ginagawa na yung 5, no? Kasi yan, very critical yan, no? Kasi sayang naman yung sobra, no, kung hindi mo naman siya maiipon, di ba? And of course, better if we are able to invest it. So I'm happy na hindi lahat yung ginagawa nyo right now. Kasi based from these 5 steps, at least meron akong nadagdag, no? So parang assignment nyo. So whatever is lacking sa money management style ninyo ngayon, you can consider to slowly add it to your routine. Okay, so some of you are doing 1, 2, and 5. So hindi pa ginagawa yung 3 and 4. So you might consider doing 3 and 4 in the next na pay cycle. Alright, thank you. No? So I'm happy na meron ako na add value pa rin in this session. Ayan. So we already done with the 5 easy steps to better money management. Again, assignment lang din po yung hindi pa natin ginagawa, and let me know, no, anong impact niya sa inyo pag nadagdag niyo siya sa repertoire niyo. Now, our next order of business is to check our debts, no? Kahit magaling na tayo mag-manage ng pera, ito usually yung nagda-drag sa atin, yung mga utang natin. Alright? So hindi naman talaga masama mangutang, no? As long as we can pay it back and generate more money. Thus, kailangan po natin i-identify yung good utang from a bad utang. Okay? So a good utang helps you and your money increase in terms of worth. So for example, pwede ka pong kumuha ng multi-purpose loan para to learn a new personal or professional skill. Pwede kayo mag-enroll sa mga different training, seminars, and certification courses out there. This is actually a good utang kasi you're actually upskilling yourself. You're making yourself more marketable, no? You're investing in your education for you to be able to have more job opportunities, more earning potential, and of course, yung learnings mo, hindi yun nababayaran. Sabi nga nila, di ba, the best investment is to actually invest in yourself. And that's actually one way for you to do that. That is to invest in your education. Especially sa day and age natin ngayon, qualifications talaga yung hinahanap. It is also a good utang if you will get a personal loan. For example, bibili ka ng laptop. And yung laptop, yung purpose mo niyan is for you to start a online business. I think maraming Pilipino na ginawa ito during the pandemic, no? Kasi they found more time kasi nasa bahay lang sila, hindi na sila nag-commute towards to work. So many decided to start an online business. So some people, what they did is to actually get a personal loan para makabili sila ng laptop para maging startup siya ng online business nila. And that's actually a good utang. Kasi if that business will generate more income for you, more than what you can pay for the loan and on top of the interest pa, and that's a good utang. Okay? Kasi you loaned money for you to be able to feed that to your business and generate you more money. For example, kumuha din kayo ng housing loan mortgage, no? And yung purpose mo dito is for you to be able to earn rental income from the real estate properties. So hindi lang yung regular income natin from our jobs, di ba? Pwede din tayo mag-invest into real estate. Tapos yung, for example, mga condominiums, mga rental properties no, that will generate you rental income. And yan, on top na yun siya sa sahod nyo. And that's also a good utang. Kasi again, nag-loan tayo for us to be able to generate a new income stream. Okay? Tapos bumili tayo ng asset that would actually outlast, no, yung term ng loan. Okay, kasi especially yung real estate, 'di ba? Limited yung supply niya. No, konti lang, hindi na dumadami yung lupa, 'di ba? So kaya may increasing demand for it. no? Year in and year out. So essentially, a good utang is any borrowed money that you can use to earn more money. And of course, this would improve our financial condition. On the other hand naman, a bad utang makes your money depreciate in value. So bumababa yung value ng pera natin. So for example, gagamit tayo ng credit card para bumili ng mga gamit na hindi natin kailangan. And worse, no, may access tayo to buy things we can't afford, no? Kasi madali na lang siya gawin with a credit card. It is also a bad utang if you just want to look rich and show off, no? Yun yung usual, no? Especially ngayon, 'di ba? Sa parang dahil din sa social media siguro na amplify din ito. Many people would like to look rich and show off. So for example, magka-car loan ka, no? Okay lang yun to get a car loan. For example, if gagamitin mo naman yung sasakyan mo for business purposes, again, that's okay kasi if that would hasten your transactions, no, improve your pag-generate ng revenue, that's okay. No? For business purposes, getting a car loan for business purpose, that's okay. Or for example, gagamitin mo naman siya sa personal mo, okay lang, it makes sense. For example, malayo ka sa workplace mo, tapos you get a car kasi gusto mo i-lessen yung travel time mo. Okay? Yung time kasi ano din yun, grabe din na commodity kasi hindi na natin yung nababalik. And yung time na yun, when we lessen our travel time, marami din tayong pwedeng magagawa doon for us to be more productive and earn more income. And pinaka-direct nun, no? If yung transportation cost mo is mas mataas kesa magkakaroon ka ng kotse. Yun yung pinaka-obvious, no? Kung mas mataas pa yung cost mo of maintaining your car or paying for the amortization niya, mas mababa pa yung total cost mo than your transportation cost when you commute, then of course, no-brainer. Okay lang to get a car loan for that. But again, no, ang iba dyan, they get a car loan because they just want to look cool and rich, no? And worse dyan, what if wala kang clear plan or source of prepayment? Then that way, you're just setting yourself up for a financial trouble. We have to be careful din also, dami ngayon mga low down payment na car loan, 'di ba? Very attractive siya tingnan, no? Kasi may iba nga na zero, 'di ba? Zero down payment. Pwede mo na mauwi yung sasakyan kahit wala kang down payment. But when we do that, yung whole amount naman ng car, yun naman yung may interesan. And again, when we do that, mas mataas naman yung monthly amortization mo when you come to think of it. No, yung total na mababayaran mo, had you made a 20 to 30% down payment, mas maliit yung mababayaran mo when you do that rather than actually zero down payment. No, wala kang binayaran, yung whole amount, let's say 1 million or 2 million, yun yung ni-loan mo, yun yung na-interesan. Alright? So again, better na when we get big ticket na mga purchases, better if meron po tayong down payment. And if may extra po tayo and if may opportunity to pay the principal, better to do that. Kasi bababa yung interest charges natin or your interest payments natin. So in essence, a bad utang is any borrowed money that you use to lose more money. So for example, nangutang po tayo, tapos ang ending po nito, we gain less or we lose more money. That is actually a bad utang. So again, to just summarize, how do we determine a good utang for a bad utang? A good utang allows us to have more money, no? It increases our cash flow, it increases our income sources, and it allows us to have more money. Yung bad utang naman, at the end of the day, we actually lose more money, right? And that's how you determine a good utang from a bad utang. Alright, so what if we're in the point already na meron na po tayong mga bad utang, no? Again, I'm going to teach you some practical tips, no, on how to pay off our bad debts, no? If we are in that situation already, then hanapan po natin ng paraan for us to be able to pay that off. And I'm going to share with you mga practical tips on how you can be free from your bad debts. So first, no, we need to identify talaga yung bad debts from the good debts. We have to identify sa lahat ng utang natin ngayon, saan ba doon yung good debt, saan din ba doon yung bad debt. Then after that, after identifying all the bad debts, ililista natin sila based on our respective interest rates and outstanding balances. So parang pwede kayo gumawa ng Excel sheet, no? So identify mo dyan kung ilan na yung outstanding balance mo for that loan, ilan din yung interest rate for that loan. So you're going to actually sort them, no, based on those two metrics. Now, for us to be able to pay this, kailangan po natin i-prioritize bayaran yung pinakamataas yung interest rate and yung pinakamaliit na remaining loan balance. Okay, so again, we need to prioritize paying those with highest interest rate and those with smallest balance. So yung highest interest rate, no-brainer yan kasi yan yung pinakamalaking charge out of all our loans. And of course, better din if mabayaran natin yung smallest balance. Kasi kahit konti na lang yung balance natin dyan, pero yung percentage niya for that specific balance is still fixed. So essentially, malaki pa rin na babayaran natin. So again, when you pay your bad debts, unahin po natin yung highest interest rate and yung smallest balance. Now, when you try to do this step, what if makita mo na hindi mo siya kayang bayaran, no? Pag plano mo doon sa debts mo, hindi mo siya kaya mabayaran. So, here's the last resort that you can actually do. You can actually talk to your financier, no, or sino yung nagpautang sa iyo kung pwede niyo ba siyang magawa ng loan restructuring program. Okay? So again, if you don't have money to pay all of your debts, it will be best to do that, no, para you would pay less interest. And of course, no, if hindi niyo naman mabayaran yung mga necessary payments niyo for that period, again, request po kayo ng loan restructuring. And again, sa loan restructuring kasi ang mangyayari doon parang i-extend, no, yung loan payment mo for you to be able to pay it, no, mas affordable for you. And you would also know your budget, no, magkano yung pwede mong mabayaran. Again, yung mga finance institutions, they'd rather have a loan restructuring kaysa hindi mo mabayaran yung loan at all. No, okay lang sa kanila ma-extend yung loan payment mo as long as mabayaran mo pa rin yan. So, yeah, go ahead. You can consider for a loan restructuring. So by now, marunong na po tayo kung paano i-improve ang ating cash flow by prioritizing our savings first before spending. Natutunan na rin natin kung paano mag-budget para maiwasan to live beyond our means. Kasi yun po talaga yung problema, no? Pag sumusobra po yung gastos natin sa kaya nating ipasok, no, sa ating wallet or sa savings account, that's setting yourself in a financial trouble. Pag nagagawa naman po natin yun, no, when we live below our means, this enables us to save and invest more. We also learn how to identify good debt versus bad debt. And just in case na meron po tayong bad debts, alam na rin natin kung paano sila bayaran. Yung previous slide, that's what I discussed. So with these money management skills, we're now ready to take the next step in achieving our financial goals. So yung next step po is actually protection. So kahit magaling na po tayo mag-manage ng pera, marami pa rin pwedeng mangyari sa buhay. Pwede tayong mawalan ng source of income temporarily or permanently. Hindi natin alam kung mangyayari ito sa atin, pero if ever that happens to us, at least napaghandaan po natin to. And isa sa mga rason kung bakit kailangan natin mag-ipon ay para mapaghandaan yung anumang krisis. No? I hope, no, yung sa pandemic, it opened our eyes to the reality na pwede pala tayo mawalan ng trabaho, either in our control or outside of our control. Pag nangyari to sa atin, wala tayong income, pero gumagastos pa rin tayo araw-araw. And what if tayo po yung breadwinner ng family? How are we able to give to our dependents, no? Kung tayo lang yung source of income for the family. So dito po pumapasok yung discussion natin of the importance of first building your emergency fund. Gaano ba dapat kalaki ang ating emergency fund? Yung rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months worth of your average monthly expenses. So for example, yung 20,000 pesos natin na take-home pay, what if we're totally spending that? So again, from this rule of thumb, i-multiply lang po natin yan by 3 and 6. So 20,000 times 3 times 6, so that's 60,000 to 120,000 recommended emergency fund. Yung rationale behind this is kung sakaling mawalan man po tayo ng trabaho for whatever reason, yung emergency fund po natin yung magsusustain ng expenses natin for the next 3 to 6 months habang naghahanap pa po tayo ng bagong trabaho or source of income. So to our attendees, no, I understand maybe some of you have emergency funds already. Enough na po ba yung emergency fund natin ngayon, no, based on this rule of thumb na 3 to 6 months worth? Sapat na po ba yung emergency fund natin? Okay, just checking na kung nandyan pa rin kayo. We have around 106 attendees this evening na. So thank you. So again, no, based on this rule of thumb, no, So tansyahin niyo po, no, magkano ba yung expenses niyo in a month? Multiply niyo po yan siya by 3 and 6. Then that should be your emergency fund. Okay? Yan, some of you said yes, no? Some of you said no. May iba din specific, no? Sabi ni Paul, nasa 50% na daw, no? So, yan, no? Yan po actually yung purpose ko, no, kung bakit ko siya binigyan ng rule of thumb. Kasi yung rule of thumb would let us know, no? Mahirap naman na sabihin natin, meron na akong emergency fund, may specific amount na ako doon, pero hindi pa pala siya enough, no? So again, with this at least sana naman nakita nyo yung kung sakto na ba yung emergency fund ninyo or hindi. Ayan, no? So for those of you na who said yes, congratulations. Pero for those naman na who said no, or for those na striving to get that 100%, so ayan, sabi din na iba, refilling, no? Baka may pinagamitan kayo recently. And that's okay, no? Buti na lang na meron kayong emergency fund by then, no? Kasi what if wala kayong emergency fund? Then wala kayong hinugutan. And likely, pag wala tayong emergency fund, babalik tayo doon sa other choice natin, which is to go into debt. And yun mahirap kasi pag utang may interest siya. Ayan. So at least alam niyo na po ngayon ano po yung goal ninyo. Okay? For example, hindi pa po enough yung emergency fund natin, we have a target already. How much yung kailangan natin? And again po, for those of you, no, challenge ko naman sa inyo na nakuha na yung 3 to 6 months. Yung next goal actually natin is to build it up to 1 year. Again, this is just for those na kumpleto na yung 3 to 6 months worth nila, no? So, for those na tapos na sa 6 months worth, I challenge you to go as long as 1 year. Okay, and yun, that gives you some level of security and confidence, no? Kasi isang taon din naman yun, no? So, grabe naman if hindi ka naman makahanap ng source of income or new job during that time. Alright? Yan. So, thank you for your participation. So, alam ko po na challenging mag-ipon to build your emergency fund, kaya I'm going to share with you some tips, no, para mas mapadali po sa inyo yung pag-build ng emergency fund. So you already know the first one, that is from your 20% na save and invest budget doon sa previous slides natin, magtabi ka ng fixed amount from that. So get a portion of that for your emergency fund. Maglagay po kayo monthly. Pero pag gagawin po natin to, medyo matagal siya kasi that's just a percentage of your monthly, tapos 3 to 6 months worth yung iipunin mo. So I'm going to share with you more tips para mapadali siya. So here's my next tips for you, no, some sources na pwede niyong pag-build ng emergency fund nyo is to save a portion of your 13th month pay. Na ito, very timely, no, kasi either by, I think this month na yung 13th month pay natin, no. So kung isisipin natin, no, dapat yung 13th month pay natin, naiipon natin yan ng buo. No, as in bulk yan siya, dapat di natin nagagastos. Bakit? Kasi first and foremost, wala po tayong 13th month sa calendar, no? There's no such thing. So kung wala pong 13th month sa calendar, wala din po dapat 13th month expenses. So kung walang 13th month and 13th month expenses, dapat yung buo niyan sana na naiipon natin. Okay? So again, yung mga ganun kasi na opportunities, sayang no? So for example lang naman, kung nag-iipon ka ng 13th month pay mo, imagine 3 years at your job right now or 3 years ka na nagtatrabaho, buo na yung emergency fund mo, 'di ba? Hindi pa natanggalan yung budget mo for the monthly save and invest mo, 'di ba? Just by saving it all, you can bulk up your emergency fund. So yan po siguro yung next challenge ko sa inyo. When you receive your 13th month pay this month, consider, no, sana buo yung maiipon natin, pero if hindi naman kaya, save a portion lang. No, wag naman gastusin lahat. So next are our bonuses or allowances, no? Kung sa compensation plan ng company niyo, meron kayong ganito, which I think most has naman. So consider naman na setting aside a certain percentage to boost your emergency fund savings. Again, wag gastusin lahat, magtira for your future. Lastly are also from our salary increases. No? I'm sure sa inyo po dito, marami na pong opportunities na dumaan sa atin na nag-increase yung salary natin. But let's come to let's try to go back to those times. No? Ano ba yung ginawa natin nung nag-increase yung salary natin? Nag-increase ba yung savings natin or nag-increase yung lifestyle natin? Okay, so again, another challenge for you. Pag nagkaroon po kayo ng salary increase in the future, these are really good opportunities to increase our savings. No, but I understand po, no, na tao lang po tayo. Yung tendency po talaga natin is to increase our lifestyle and bills. So siguro as a compromise, pwede naman po siguro na pag tumaas yung sahod natin, pwede naman tayo taasan natin yung lifestyle natin konti, pero taasan din natin yung savings and investment natin. Again, the goal here, ultimate goal here is for us to be able to achieve our financial goals faster. And if meron na po tayong emergency funds, saan po ba siya magandang ilagay? So pwede natin siya ilagay sa savings account, time deposit, and money market pooled funds. Kasi even though mga low returns itong mga investments na to, they are relatively liquid and less likely to go down in value. In the event naman na bigla tayong magkakasakit, again, I hope yung pandemic opened our eyes to these two realities, no? Dito na po pumapasok yung importance ng insurance. Gaano ba dapat kalaki ang ating insurance coverage? Yung rule of thumb is to start with at least 3 to 4 times your gross annual income. So again po, no, how much ba yung insurance coverage natin? For example, yung monthly pay mo, multiply mo yan ng 12 para meron kang gross annual income mo. Then you multiply that by 3 to 4. So ibig po sabihin niya, let's say yung 20,000 natin na example kanina, yung gross annual income mo is 240,000. So when you multiply that by 3 and 4, so that's 720,000 to 960,000 pesos na insurance coverage. And I think within that range, I think pwede ka makakuha niyan between 1,500 to 2,500 siguro, no, for that insurance coverage. And that's just 10% of your 20,000 na take-home pay. Again, yung purpose po nitong insurance is for our dependents, no? Para magamit nila tong pera to pay off yung medical and end-of-life expenses natin. And kung meron pang natira doon, then pwede nila yung gastusin and as much as they'd like. No? Importante lang na when we leave this world, sana hindi tayo mag-iwan ng problema. No? Kasi maraming expenses when it comes to our end-of-life or our medical bills. So I hope, no, to our attendees, sana sapat na po yung insurance coverage natin. Again, that is just to start with, no? Kasi yung ano talaga nito, when you build this up with time, yung recommended talaga is nasa between 10 to 15 times your gross annual income. Kasi with that 10 to 15 times, yung dependents mo can live, no, kahit hindi sila kikita ng pera. So when you buy your insurance, I'm going to share with you these quick tips, no, for your consideration. So first, get both health and life insurance coverage. Hindi mo alam anong unang mangyayari. Hindi mo alam kung magkakasakit ka first or kukunin ka na ni Lord first. So either those two would happen. So if that is our problem, confused tayo which would come first, might as well get two. Get both health and life insurance coverage. So hanap kayo dyan kung merong mga insurance plans out there na merong dalawa. And if wala naman, then get a health insurance, then get a life insurance. Then I recommend also that you get insurance on top of your what your company gives you, kasi siguro usually sa trabaho natin meron namang insurance yun na kasali, di ba? But on top of that, we also need to get our personal life insurance or health and life insurance, kasi when hindi na tayo connected dun sa company, no, yung time na nun, no, na hindi na tayo connected, kahit no matter how short, kung may mangyari sa atin, at least covered pa rin tayo. Then here's my next tip also, to pay your premiums annually but save for it monthly. Kasi sa ibang insurance plans po, pag ginawa niyo po ito, mas kaunti po yung mababayaran niyo for the whole duration of that insurance. Okay? So again, no, try when you get a quote from your insurance agent or your financial advisor, tanong niyo po magkano yung babayaran niyo if you pay it monthly, semi-annually, or annually. Tapos try to compute po magkano yung babayaran niyo for the whole payment period of that insurance plan is. And usually po, if you pay annually, mas makakatipid po kayo. No? So sa case ko po, sa personal na insurance na kinuha ko, nakatipid po ako ng 20% just by paying for it annually, no? Rather than monthly. Okay? But yung ginagawa ko po is gusto ko po siya maging part ng monthly expenses ko. So ginagawa ko is kinukuha ko pa rin, no? I divide yung annual premium ko into 12 and yan po yung iniipon ko per month. So this brings me to my third tip, no? So pag nag-ipon po kayo ng monthly niyo for your insurance premium, then please consider to park it in a money market pooled fund. Again, ang purpose lang nito is for you to be able to earn more money while nakatenga pa yun siya. So again, kasi pinag-ipunan natin monthly yung insurance premium natin, tapos end of the year pa natin siya babayaran. So anong gagawin ng pera natin kung naghihintay pa for that period? So again, ang suggestion ko is to put it in money market pooled funds to make it earn while waiting. Yan. So, no, medyo masaklap yung topic natin, no, midway to our presentation kasi mga unemployment, we get sick, or we reach our end of life. Pero yung buhay naman, it's not all about these worst case scenarios kasi I believe many of us, meron naman tayong mga dreams and a vision of ourselves 5, 10, 20 years into the future. So, be it yung goal natin is to live in our dream house, drive our dream car, and have the best gadgets. Tapos siguro after all of this, no, I think some of you are traveling already, pero I think some of you also would like to travel din, no, kung hindi natin siya nagawa for the past 3 years. Kahit yung mga major milestones in life, no, yung getting married, building a family, raising kids, kailangan natin to silang pag-ipunan, no? It's not as easy as before. So for example, gusto natin mag-travel internationally on a 120,000 peso budget. Tapos sasabihin mo gusto mo mag-travel after 2 years, so that's 24 months. So divide na po natin yung 120,000 pesos with the saving period na 24 months. This will give us a guide na kailangan natin mag-ipon ng 5,000 pesos every month. So after saving for 2 years, you would already have saved 120,000 pesos para sa international travel mo, Southeast Asia ba? So you booked your tickets, secured your accommodations, and after estimating your other travel expenses, na-realize mo that it would now cost you 135,000 pesos. Tapos you scratch your head and ask yourself, paano to nangyari? So the culprit behind this is inflation. So again, yung inflation po, ito po yung pagtaas ng presyo ng mga serbisyo at bilihin, causing our purchasing power to weaken or go down. So habang tumataas po yung presyo ng mga serbisyo at bilihin, lumiliit po yung nabibili natin for the same amount of money. So for better appreciation, ito po yung inflation in action. Way back in 2010, yung 500 peso bill looked like that. So nung tinanong ko po yung parents ko, nakakabili daw sila ng 15 to 20 kilos of rice back then. Last 2020, nagbago na po yung mukha and feel ng 500 peso bill, pero yung value niya is still 500 pesos. Yung average price per kilo ng rice noon was around 50 pesos. So in this case, 10 kilos na lang yung mabibili mo for the same amount of money. Fast forward to 2030, baka 1 cup of rice na lang yan. We can't tell for sure, but likely, mas maliit na lang ang mabibili natin na rice by then. So okay po ba kayo sa ganitong situation na yung hard-earned money natin, hindi siya nakakatalo sa inflation? So again, okay ba po sa inyo yung situation na to na parang tumataas yung presyo ng mga bilihin, pero yung pera ninyo, hindi naman siya nag-grow as high as your inflation? No? So of course, no, parang pangit yun na scenario kasi parang imagine mo, nag-ipon tayo ng pera, pero after some few years, mas maliit na lang yung nabibili natin na commodity or product by then. No? So of course, ayaw natin ng ganung na scenario. We always want our money to grow as fast as inflation or better yet, faster than inflation. Kasi we need to realize, no? This brings me to my complete message for this night's webinar. So again, I'd like to complete my key message. It's not about how much money you earn, but how much money you save and how you make it grow. So again, kanina po, naintindihan na po natin na importante po yung pag-iipon. We've taught you 5 na mga money management techniques or strategies that we can implement para makapag-ipon po tayo ng pera. Now, but we realize na when we do that, we also have to be aware of inflation. No, kasi yung inflation, it diminishes the purchasing power of our money. So kailangan din po natin palaguin yung pera natin para hindi din siya kakainin ng inflation. So if I were to give a analogy, no, we have here a pot, no. So kanina, 'di ba, kung meron tayong pot, binuhusan natin siya ng income or ng tubig from the faucet. May butas yung pot. So kanina siguro kung wala pa tayong money management skills and techniques, lumalabas lang po lahat ng income natin. So ang income natin same lang sa expenses or paminsan sumosobra pa nga yung expenses kaysa income. Now, with the 5 easy steps to better money management, para po natin nalagyan ng soil yung pot. So of course, no, pagbuhos ng tubig doon or yung income natin, meron nare-retain. Naman, no, if soil lang siya, no, na pwede naman actually natin siyang lagyan ng seed. sayang naman niya yung ano lang, soil lang siya. Okay, so nothing, no? We cannot get something from that. So what we can actually do, pwede tayong magtanim po doon and for us to be able to grow that certain plant. But as our plant is growing, we have to understand po na meron po talaga mga pests or mga caterpillars who would eat doon po sa growth ng plant natin. Okay? So, importante lang po dito yung growth po ng pag-increase or pagtubo po ng plant natin, mas mabilis lang po yung growth niya compared sa pagkain ng pest or in this case, we call this your inflation. So by now, magaling na po tayo mag-manage ng pera. Handa na din tayo sa mga possible na mga crisis or mga uncertainties ng life kasi meron na tayong sapat na emergency fund at health and life insurance coverage. Pero ngayon na-realize po natin na kailangan pala natin palaguin yung pera para matalo ang inflation. And with this money management skills and protection, ready na po tayo to take the next step in achieving our financial goals. Yung next step po natin is investing. Marami tayong pwedeng pagpilian when trying to grow our hard-earned money. So from money market securities such as treasury bills and time deposits, to bond securities like government and corporate bonds, also equity securities like stocks, real estate investment trust, and exchange-traded funds. Okay, but before we get into that, no, when we discuss more about investing, we have to emphasize po na yung investing po is actually very personal. Yung pagpili po ng right investment para sa atin among other factors. Ng someone na kakasimula pa lang is different from those na may experience na. When investing, you should also know when you'd like to achieve your financial goal, as this determines your time horizon. Actually, dito pa lang sa time horizon can filter already yung appropriate na investment for you. Investments also have varying levels of risk involved. No? Pwedeng low risk, pwede medium risk, or pwede din high risk. So marami tayong iba-iba po yung natin, level of sensitivities natin. So we react differently to the fluctuations of the investment. So in this case, let's assess first, anong type of investor ba tayo? So dito, we prepared a investor personality test na 7 multiple choice questions. And what I'd like you to do is to answer this, as honest as you can. And again, there's no right or wrong answer here. So I'm going to give you some time right now to get a piece of paper and any writing material. And you can even use the note app na mobile phones ninyo to write down your answers. Alright, so again, get a piece of paper or any writing material or pwede nyo i-open yung note app ng phone nyo for you to be able to key in your multiple choice answers. So please type ready if okay na po kayo. If ready na po yung mga items natin. Ayan, thank you Sir Paul, Ready na daw Sir Paul. We have here Sir John, ready na rin. Sir Earl, ready na rin daw. All right, we have still 100 plus participants right now, so thank you. Ma'am Stephanie, sabi niya ready na rin. How about the others? Irvin, sabi niya go, sabi ni Vincent, game. Ayan. I like our audience ngayon, very G, G sila lahat. Okay, so I think we can start already. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds to answer each question. Okay, para may time din kayo naman mag-isip. Alright, so let's go to the first question. Why are you investing? Is it A, to build your emergency fund or operational fund? B, to maintain a sustenance fund through steady returns? C, to save for future expenditure, be it car, vacation, or home? Or D, to enhance wealth or achieve capital growth? So again, please put it doon sa writing material nyo. Some of you are answering dito sa chat box, but again, babalikan natin lahat ng answers nyo later. So better if nalista nyo po siya sa side ninyo. Kasi dito baka mahirapan kayo later to go back. Okay? Kasi babalikan natin yan to make sense of it later. So again, suggestion ko on a piece of paper sa tabi ninyo or a note app dun sa cellphones ninyo. Alright, let's go to the second question. When do you intend to withdraw your investment? Is it A, might require regular withdrawal? A, might require withdrawal anytime. B, might require regular withdrawal. C, only when necessary. Or D, does not require withdrawal until 5 years or more. 10 seconds po. All right, let's go to the third question. What level of risk in relation to investment returns are you most comfortable with? Is it A, I am okay with very low returns as long as my principal is protected? B, I can accept minimal risk for stable returns? C, I can accept moderate risk and short-term losses for potentially higher returns over time? Or D, I am willing to take high risks to achieve the highest potential returns over the long term? 10 seconds po ulit. All right, let's go to the fourth question. How long are you willing to keep your money invested? Is it A, less than a year? Is it B, 1 to 3 years? Is it C, more than 3 years but less than 5 years? D, 5 years or more? 10 seconds po ulit. All right, let's go to the fifth question. How much do you know about investments? Is it A, minimal, I have savings and time deposits? B, low, I know the basics of money markets and bonds? C, medium, I have existing mutual funds and UITFs? D, high, I trade stocks. 10 seconds po ulit. Ayan, let's go to the sixth question. How long have you been investing? Is it A, less than 1 year? B, 1 to 5 years? C, 6 to 10 years? Or D, more than 10 years? So if hindi pa po kayo nakakapagsimula mag-invest, likely A yung answer nyo, that's less than 1 year. And if nakakapag-invest na po kayo, if more than 1 year na siya, choose your letter of your choice. All right, let's go to the seventh question. This is the last question actually. What type of investments are you interested in? Is it A, savings and time deposits? B, money market and government securities? C, bond and balance funds? D, stocks, real estate, and or derivatives? All right, last 10 seconds. And when you're done, can you please chat done? No? Tapos na kayo sa 7 questions. All right, thank you, Sir Sir Linton, no? Done na daw. Sir Aquino, done na. All right, thank you everyone, no? I love our attendees tonight, no? Kasi very participative, no? Medyo dami tayong question and answer, no? And marami tayong mga activities. I hope you were able to follow, no? Ayan, thank you. Dami. I'm happy. Thank you, Ma'am Helenita, Ma'am Tess, Sir Jumari, Nori, Marilu. Ayan, thank you. Ayan, thank you. So again, for those who are done already, meron na po kayong 7 answers dyan sa paper or mobile phones ninyo. Bibigyan po natin yan sila ng score ngayon to know anong type of investor tayo. So for every letter A that you answered, score it 1 point. Every letter B that you answered, score it 2 points. For every letter C you answered, score it 3 points. For every letter D you answered, score it 4 points. So doon po sa answers niyo, yung sa letters niyo kanina in one column, sa tabi po niya, lagyan po natin ng corresponding score as we see dito sa table. So again, 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending kung A, B, C, or D. Now, after giving your answers a score, kunin nyo rin po yung total score. So after giving it a score, as you see dyan sa table, kunin nyo rin po yung total. And I'm going to give you 60 seconds to do this. And if you're done, please key in or chat po yung total score ninyo. Bilis ng iba, no? So we have here Sir Mark at 21, Sir Aries at 26, Sir Uy at 26, Rani at 16, Reynaldo 24, 20, Christopher 27, Jumari at 22, Rex at 21, Earl at 19, no? By the way guys, no, hindi po yan age, no? That is the total score po dito sa investor personality. Baka yung iba kakabalik lang nila, akala nila age, no? Total score po ito. Ayan. I'm happy to see, no, ang daming sumagot, no? So you really went through the exercise. So thank you very much, no? So lots of lots of total scores here. Alright, so I think tapos na po tayo lahat. So tingnan po natin ngayon yung investor profile natin or yung individual investment profile natin based on our total score. So if you scored below 8 points, you are a conservative investor and have a risk rating of 1. If you scored between 9 to 13 points, you are moderately conservative investor and have a risk rating of 2. I don't think walang attendee ngayon na nandito sa dalawang category. If you scored between 14 to 17, may nakita po akong isa kanina na 14 yung total niya, you are a moderate or balanced investor and have a risk rating of 3. If you scored naman 18 to 21 points, marami din po akong nakita kanina na nandito na range, you are moderately aggressive investor and have a risk rating of 4. And I'm quite surprised also to see na marami talaga din na nag-score higher than 22 points. So many of you here in attendance are aggressive investors and have a risk rating of 5. So ngayon po, alam na po natin anong type of investor tayo and yung mga respective risk ratings niya. And I want you to know lang din na hindi pa po tayo nag-discuss anything about investment. So we can really say na hindi po bias yung results ng investor personality test natin. So after knowing what type of investor we are, the next question would be, ano po ba yung suitable or right investment for us? Pag nalaman na po natin yung style natin, ano yung appropriate na investment for us? So if your risk rating is 1, you're conservative and yung suitable po na investment for you are money market securities. If risk rating mo naman is 2, yung mga moderately conservative, yung suitable investment are fixed income securities or bonds. If risk rating nyo naman is 4, you're moderately aggressive and yung suitable sa inyo is equity securities or stocks pero limited lang sa index trackers. If yung risk rating mo naman is 5, you are aggressive and your suitable investment is still equity securities or stocks pero pwede na po kayong pumili ng individual stock. So pwede na kayo individual stock picking. If your risk rating naman is 3, you're moderate or balanced, and yung suitable investment for you is a mix of bonds and stocks. Alright, so again, ang ginawa po natin dito is matching your investor personality to the legitimate investments available sa Philippines. And ito po yung mga asset classes natin. So para maintindihan po natin itong mga investments further, pag-usapan po natin yung characteristics ng isa-isa of each of these investments. So una po are your money market securities. Yung common instruments dito are treasury bills, time deposits, and savings accounts. You can earn from interest payments of your deposits over a certain maturity period. So if kakailanganin mo po yung pera over the short term, maybe between 1 to 2 years, it might be best to put it in money market instruments kasi low risk ito and relatively liquid. Yung second type naman are fixed income securities or bonds. So essentially, bonds are essentially utang, or debt instruments. Di ba kanina pinag-usapan po natin yung identifying good utang from bad utang, Tayo personally, we take on debt, kasi may gusto tayong bilhin na hindi pa natin afford right now. Again, it could be a good debt or a bad debt. And tayo po mismo yung nangungutang and tayo po yung nagbabayad ng interest. But alam niyo po ba na meron pong investment na tayo yung magpapautang? Okay, we loan our money, tawag natin dito or bonds. So may dalawa pong klase, we have government and corporate bonds. So government bonds are perceived to have lower risk than corporate bonds kasi nga backed siya by the country. To compensate you for lending money, kayo po nagpahiram ng pera either sa government or sa corporation, over a certain period of time, you can earn through coupon or interest payments. So pwede to, depende sa bond, pwede nilang bayaran quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. In terms of interest rates naman, yung corporate bonds usually mas mataas yung interest rates nila kasi higher yung potential default risk niya compared to your government bonds. Yung tendency for a corporation to default is higher than the tendency of the government to default. Okay? So lower risk ang government bonds, higher risk ang corporate bonds. But because you're taking on higher risk, yung interest rates na binibigyan nila usually is higher than your corporate bonds. Tapos itong bonds, tinitrade din to siya sa secondary market. So, pwede nyo actually silang ibenta before the maturity date para pwede kayong kumita ng potential capital gains. If pwede nyo siyang mabenta at a much higher price, if doon po yung galawan ng supply and demand niya, then you can sell it at a higher price. However, ito lang din yung maganda sa bonds kasi if you decide naman to hold it until maturity date, yung principal amount niya will be returned in full. Okay? So, tawag doon is yung pag-repay ng investment. Kasi if you hold it up until maturity, yung principal amount ibabalik po sa inyo in full. So if you're investing for medium to long-term financial goals, maybe between 1 to 5 years, it might be better to invest in bond instruments kasi mas mataas po yung interest rates niya than your money market securities. But yun lang nga po, hindi siya as liquid as your money market kasi mas mataas usually yung maturity date. Usual maturity dates ng bonds is more than 1 year siya. So marami yan, no? May 1 year, may 2 year, 3 year, may 5 year, 7 year, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year bond. No, but usually yung ideal talaga for bonds if yung goals mo is within 1 to 5 years, no? If it's between that time horizon, it might be best to put it in bonds. So for example, no, just to give you an idea, yung recent retail treasury bond offering, RTB28, meron siyang 5.75% annual interest rate over a 5.5-year maturity period. So very affordable din po siya kasi for a minimum investment niya is only 5,000 pesos. Tapos yung interest payments niya, quarterly na rin siya binabayad. But again, since this is interest income, meron siyang 20% na final withholding tax. And for example, no, there's a calculation here sa right side. If nag-invest kayo ng 5,000 pesos sa time deposit, you will earn 247.5 pesos after 5.5 years. On the other hand naman, if you invested the same amount sa RTB28, you will earn 1,265 pesos after 5.5 years. So from this example, klarong-klaro po that by investing in RTB28, you can earn a relatively higher yield than time deposits. So again po, if yung ano po natin, yung goal natin, it will be, hindi siya yung, for example, we have extra money. So if yung pera natin, kailangan natin siya within a year, better to put it in a money market security such as a time deposit. Pero if yung goal naman po natin is something that we desire to achieve more than 1 year but less than 5 years, might be better to put it in bonds. Kasi nga, mas mataas yung interest rate niya usually than your money market securities. Alright? But yun lang, hindi siya as liquid kasi nga mas mataas yung maturity date niya compared than your money market. So third type are your equity securities. So these are shares of stock of a listed company. So as a part owner of the business, pwede kang kumita from the company's profits through dividends. These are not guaranteed though as this depends on the decision of the board of directors. But yung general trend niya, if yung mga company na generous sa pagbigay ng dividends, they tend to grow less quickly. Pero yung mga hindi masyado generous when it comes to giving dividends, they tend to grow more quickly. Itong stocks are also publicly traded in the Philippine Stock Exchange, so investors can actually sell it to earn from potential price appreciation. However, this is governed by the law of supply and demand, so it can also go the other way due to market risk. And that's one of the things that we take on when we enter into the equity market, yung market risk. So if you're investing for your long-term financial goals, maybe more than 5 years, you might consider investing in stocks with prudence. Kasi usually, pag longer term yung time horizon natin, mas malaki yung earning potential sa equities compared to your bonds. Okay? But we have to be comfortable with the risk that we are taking kasi nga medyo volatile yung stock market. And to show you, no, yung characteristics ng stocks, no, as one example, pwede nating tingnan yung performance ni Meralco from 2017 to April 2022. So nakikita nyo dito, this is how stocks usually fluctuate. And again, ito po siyang pag-fluctuate ng presyo, this depends solely on the supply and demand market forces. So how buyers are willing to hold on to their stocks or how sellers are willing to liquidate their stocks. So you can see here sa chart na may mga periods that it trends higher. So pwede kayong kumita dito when you buy low and sell high. Pero may mga periods din talaga na nagpapahinga yung presyo ng stock. So may mga parts na nagte-trend lower siya. So pag nandito na tayo na trend, we should avoid the stock during this time. But yun lang, maganda sa business ni Meralco, the nature of its company, no, medyo stable siya. Tapos medyo nasa ano na siya, no, na-occupy niya na yung most na mga, no? I don't think, no? Medyo cornered niya yung industry niya. So si Meralco, despite sa mga price fluctuation niya, nagkapagbigay din siya ng dividends through the years. No? Meralco is considered one of the medyo consistent na mga dividend payer, no? Kasi nga because of the nature ng negosyo niya. Okay? Now, you might see the advantages now. You can see in this graph na these are the two ways for us to earn sa stock market through price appreciation and dividend income. So we might be attracted na, no? Gusto natin mag-invest sa stocks. So some people, ang usual na hindrance nila or challenge nila, akala nila it's expensive, no? Malaki yung kailangan na capital in order to start investing in stocks. But I'm here to tell you that you don't need a lot of money in order to start investing sa stocks. Don't stop at just being able to afford a Champ and Joy super meal from Jollibee, no? Nakakabili tayo yan at 264 pesos. But did you know you can buy a share of Jollibee Foods Corporation for as little as 232 pesos per share? And ang good news dito, hindi lang po Jollibee yung binibili natin dyan. Kasi yung under the Jollibee brand, you have Greenwich, you have Chowking, Mang Inasal, Red Ribbon, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, and several other international brands under the Jollibee Foods Corporation na group. Don't just stop at being able to afford a San Miguel Beer Grande for 110 pesos. Because for as little as 36.5 pesos per share, nakakabili na kayo ng San Miguel Food and Beverage na share ng company. So again, hindi lang yan San Miguel yung under that dyan, no? Kasi under that brand, you have Magnolia, you have Pure Foods, you have Monterey, you have Dairy Cream, Star Margarine, and even Ginebra San Miguel. And of course, no, sa inuman, no, paminsan kasabay niyan are chips, 'di ba? So, wag lang din kayo mag-snack ng super-sized Piatos Party Pack for 114 pesos. Na pwede naman kayo makabili ng share ng Universal Robina Corporation for as little as 122 pesos per share lang. And of course, no, pag umabot tayo ng midnight, paminsan nagsasnack tayo, wag lang kayo magluto ng Lucky Me Pancit Canton na yung retail price niya is 11 pesos per pack. Kasi pwede naman tayo makabili ng Mondenisin Corporation for as little as 11.68 pesos per share. So again, mapapaisip tayo in the future, no? Okay naman na gumastos tayo sa ganito, no? Kasi these are part of our lives naman, 'di ba? Pero we have to consider din also, no, na pwede actually tayo mag-invest, no, for similar amounts and percentage lang. So yung mga pinakita ko po na example dito, these are yung mga sikat na mga stocks, no? But we can actually choose to up to 250 to 300 stocks sa Philippine Stock Exchange. But in order to get the general sentiment of the market, si PSE periodically selects 30 stocks to be part of the composite index. So yung mga index stocks, commonly called dito are blue chip stocks. So siguro ma-observe nyo dito, they have really good brand recall, tapos they have good demand for their products and services, tapos ano na rin, they have dominant market share when it comes to their respective industries. And these businesses have also weathered economic downturns, no? Yung before the pandemic, no, imagine yun, 9 months yun na wala masyadong business or activity, pero buhay na buhay pa rin yung mga companies na ito. So their financial stability will enable them to survive unfavorable conditions, no? As nakita naman natin sa pandemic. So yung level of stability naman can help them maintain their long-term growth prospects, and yung share ng portion natin, we can actually earn there through profits, no? Through the dividends niya. And of course, no, pag nag-grow pa talaga yung company, pwede din umakyat yung share price niya. So if you plan to invest long-term in the stock market, ito po yung performance niya and how it has fluctuated through the years. So may mga years po talaga that the stock market is positive, sometimes negative, or little to no change at all. But historically, from end of 1987 to 2021, mas marami po yung years na nagbigay po ng positive returns yung market. Yung total growth rate niya was also around 775.9%. Tapos yung compound annual growth rate niya is around 6.59%. So to recap, let's compare money market, fixed income, or bonds, and equities or stocks. So again po, as you go further to the right, the risk involved actually increases. So ibig po sabihin dito, equities are riskier than your bonds, bonds are riskier than money market. But if you're comfortable in taking on more risk, yung potential return niya also increases. So for time deposits and with a good amount of money, you can probably get around 1.25% interest rate per annum. Yung bonds naman, like yung discussion natin kanina, yung RTB28, meron siyang 5.75% na interest rate on a 5.5-year maturity period. Yung equities naman, hindi po siya tulad ng money market and bonds na meron po siyang fixed rates of returns kasi yung performance ng stocks nagfa-fluctuate po siya with investor sentiment. Historically ending in 2021, yung 20-year compound annual growth rate ng PSEI is around 9.45%. But as always, past performance is no guarantee of future results. Now, ito po yung options natin. And yung common reason natin kanina, no, balikan po natin yung discussion sa key message natin kanina. The most common reason why people invest is they want to beat inflation. And of course, to grow their money. Last year, 2021, yung average inflation niya is 4.5%. So pag tiningnan po natin yung returns, ano po yung asset class na nakakatalo sa inflation? Can you please chat po? Which of these asset classes or investments ang nakakatalo sa inflation? Alright, 100 participants. I hope you're still there. Alright, again po, no, yung reason natin bakit kailangan natin mag-invest is we want to beat inflation or at the very least, match inflation. So again, yung inflation is nasa negative 4.5%. And ito po yung rates of returns ng each of the asset classes. So which of these asset classes beats inflation? Yes, no? Iba sabi niya sa first, no? Ang iba sabi nila is stocks lang. But tama po, no? Some of you identified, no? 4.5% yung inflation. Pero when you look at your fixed income bonds, meron ng 5.75%. Talo niya na yung inflation. Yung stocks naman, kung long term naman yung time horizon natin, talong-talo niya kasi nasa 9.45%. Alright, no? So correct answer here is both fixed income and equities, or that's your stocks and your bonds. So ibig po ba sabihin dito, no, kung yung goal natin is to beat inflation, ibig po ba sabihin dito hindi tayo mag-i-invest sa money market? Kasi nga hindi niya natatalo yung inflation? I beg to differ. Again, maganda po na alam natin yung risk appetite natin and potential returns, but we also need to consider yung third element, which is actually time horizon when it comes to investing. So kanina po napag-usapan po natin yung importance ng pag-build ng emergency fund para maprotektahan po yung finances natin from unexpected expenses. Or of course, no, pag mawalan tayo ng source of income. Hindi natin to alam kung kailan siya mangyayari, so baka hindi po magandang idea to put our emergency fund sa stocks or equities. Kasi nga yung performance niya nagfa-fluctuate. Baka malagay natin yung sarili natin in a position na kailangan natin ibenta yung stocks natin even at a loss kasi kailangan na natin yung pera natin. So again, emergency fund natin, lagay po natin sa money market na instruments. For short-term financial goals, mas maganda po siya ilagay sa money market instruments kasi nga low risk siya and liquid siya na asset. So we are trying, no? Kasi yung goal natin, emergency fund siya eh. So hindi importante sa atin yung growth ng pera. Mas importante sa atin na low risk siya and liquid siya. Pag kailangan natin, pwede natin siyang kunin agad-agad. So we are now foregoing higher potential returns for the protection and accessibility of our money. For our medium to long-term financial goals naman, dito na po pumapasok yung pag-build natin ng growth fund. So again, pag nag-build po tayo ng growth fund natin, ito na po yun ang maganda na magkaroon ng mix between your bonds and your stocks. So again, so from this webinar, parang may dalawa tayong goal right now. So first is the emergency fund. Second is our growth fund. So yung growth fund natin, mas maganda kung combination siya ng stocks and bonds. Tama po yung binanggit ng ibang participants this afternoon. So for better appreciation po, ito po yung simulation if we invested 100,000 pesos sa time deposits, treasury bills, and the PSE index. So 20 years ago as of end 2019. So yung blue line po, yan po yung performance ng time deposits. Yung red line naman is the performance ng treasury bills. Yung green line naman is the performance of your PSE index, and the yellow line is inflation. So as you see, over the long term, yung stocks, mas mataas po yung growth niya. So healthier siya and higher rate of return. So this is comparing, no, sa common investment alternatives. So most importantly, it was also able to beat inflation and grow our hard-earned money historically. So as you can also observe from the graph, may mga periods din po, especially in the early years, na yung other asset classes perform better. So again, no, dito po sa early years, no, nakikita nyo dyan, no, yung performance po ng time deposit, yung treasury bills, better po siya kaysa performance ng PSEI. dito sa early years. So dito nyo po nakikita yung importance na long-term growth potential ng stock. Alright? Kasi na-appreciate natin yung pag-grow niya over the long term. Okay, but we have to take into account na in the early years, meron talagang underperformance yung stocks compared to other investment alternatives. So this brings me to the last message sa presentation ko. It's already 7:30, no? But we're on the last slide, diversification. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. So for different financial goals, invest your money in various appropriate investments. By virtue of diversifying, we are balancing the risk we are taking with the potential returns of investing. So very important po ito yung diversification. Sabi nga ni John Templeton, diversification is a safety factor. That is essential because we should be humble enough to admit we can be wrong. Okay, and actually diversification is the only free lunch sa stock market or sa investing as a whole. Again, diversify, don't put all your eggs in one basket. So in summary, we upgraded our money management skills by saving first before spending, and we applied the 5 easy steps to better money management and learned how to pay off bad debts. We also learned how to protect ourselves for any crisis or life's uncertainties by building an emergency fund. And we did this by also adding on to our emergency fund. We also got enough health and life insurance coverage. When saving up for our life goals, we also realized how inflation diminishes the purchasing power of our money. We also learned how investing can potentially beat inflation and grow our money. Since investing is personal, we also know right now yung investor personality natin, and we match it to the appropriate investment asset class where we put our money into. So again, kanina pinag-usapan pa natin yung money market, fixed income, and equity securities. And lastly, we discussed the importance of diversification to balance inherent risk and potential reward. So there you go. That's the summary of our presentation. Again, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A of the Zoom panel kasi we will answer them after a couple of slides na lang. No? So just want to give you time to queue in your question and answer before we proceed to the live Q&A. Okay, so again, take this time to queue in your questions, then we will answer them after the following slides. So I hope you learned a lot from this webinar. Kung gusto niyo naman po matuto further, I'm inviting you to attend any or all our upcoming webinars this November. And especially yung upcoming natin na seminar or webinar this Friday, that's November 4. I'll be conducting Stock Market 101. Well, I'll be discussing the following topics. So first, I'll be discussing what is stock market investing. 2, why do companies issue stocks? Number 3, how to earn money from stocks. 4, how to choose a good stock to buy. And number 5, how can First Metro Sec help? Again, this will be on November 4, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. That's this Friday. You can also invite us for a free and exclusive tailor-made gamified learning programs and or briefings for your company, school, organization, or clients. Just send us an email at marketeducation@firstmetrosec.com.ph. Should you decide to invest in the future, we would like to let you know that with First Metro Sec, you only need one account for all your investment needs. You can gain access to your portfolio using your desktop, laptop, tablets, and even your mobile phones. With your First Metro Sec account, you can trade PSE stocks, real estate investment trusts, exchange-traded funds, invest in mutual funds, unit investment trust funds, and even bonds. We're actually doing quite well. We have received multiple awards and global recognitions from Finance Asia, International Finance, Global Economics, Global Brands Magazine, and Asia Money Brokers Poll. And through the years, we were awarded to be Philippines' best online broker, best stock brokerage house, best and most innovative online trading platform, among others. You can open an account by downloading the First Metrosec Go mobile app from the Google Play or Apple App Store and click Sign Up Now. Just complete the online registration form and upload the required documents. And for faster processing of your account opening application, please use the seminar code FINLIT. Again, that's the seminar code FINLIT, so we will know that you came from this webinar. For further assistance, please send us an email at accountopening@firstmetrosec.com.ph. We have continuously been aggressive in coming up with webinars to reach out to more people. Catch them on our YouTube channel where we upload saving and investing webinars for free. We'd also like to invite you to our growing First Metrosec family in the official Facebook community. That is www.facebook.com/groups/firstmetrosec. You can also join our Viber community, that's First Metrosec Market Updates. This is where we provide daily stock market updates, corporate news, dividend announcements, alerts on new research reports, recommendations, and stock market guidance. Especially if you're an existing account holder First Metrosec, I really recommend that you join this Viber community kasi this is where we update you the most. All right? If you have further questions, you may visit our help center, that is help.firstmetrosec.com.ph. Browse through our frequently asked questions or search for your inquiry by accessing our help desk. Feel free to connect with us. Our main website is www.firstmetrosec.com.ph. In social media channels, just search for the handle @firstmetrosec. So for account requests, updates, and access concerns, just email customerservice@firstmetrosec.com.ph. So with that, thank you everyone. So it's now time for our Q&A. So we still have 97 participants here. So yeah, give me a few seconds lang. I'll just drink a cup of water. Then again, if you have questions, now is the time to queue them in. We'll have a few minutes to answer your questions. Thank you. All right. It's already 7:30, I think 7:37. Ayan, so we have a few minutes more to answer your questions. Ayan, so here, let me scan the questions. Ayan. We have here a question from Sir Richard, no? A little bit of I was not able to discuss this, but we've been seeing this in the news, no? What is crypto boom now being a big controversial due to its unlimited earning? So again, sir, no, Sir Richard, no, thank you for asking that, no. I was not able to discuss crypto in the investment asset classes because as of this moment, wala pa pong regulatory body with regards to crypto, uh, building regulations around cryptocurrency dito sa Philippines. So as of this moment, hindi pa po siya considered. But I think other countries have been exploring that as a currency. No, but again, dito sa Philippines, wala pa po tayong regulating body with regards to that. Pinag-aaralan pa po nila. So another thing that I keyed in sa question ni Boss is unlimited earning. I don't think unlimited siya, no? Kasi you're looking only at the plus side, no? You're looking only at the profits. Kasi pwede naman, kasi if there's really demand for that asset, tumataas talaga yung presyo niya kasi people would like to buy it at a much higher price. That's what pushes your prices higher. Kaya that's one thing na one of the reasons bakit tumataas yung crypto before. Pero I think crypto right now is downtrending already, di ba? So again, based doon sa discussion natin kanina, return is just one side of the equation. No? Kasi for that specific rate of return, may kaakibat din siya na same level of risk. No? So kung high potential return, high potential risk din for that asset. Okay? So ingat-ingat lang po, no? So especially kung hard-earned money natin, better to pag meron tayong nilagay na pera in any asset, yung thinking natin is we invest money that we can afford to lose. Especially if wala siyang regulating body. Buti dito, for example, si PSE, you have yung regulating body niya, you have SEC, that's your regulating body. Also have BSP, BIR. So may mga ganon. But yun, as of this moment, parang wala pa pong regulating body for crypto dito sa Philippines. Okay, I answered that live. Here's another question from anonymous attendee. Is it wise to purchase a St. Peter life plan? Yeah, for me personally, it's a good idea, no? Any life plan, no? Kasi ang importante lang naman diyan, 'di ba, yung I think yung St. Peter, parang nag-iipon tayo para meron tayong pambili ng casket and yung memorial service natin, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, parang come to think of it as that way, no? Parang pinag-iipunan mo 'yun. Okay? So, that's a good idea kasi ikaw na mismo nag-iipon for that future purchase, 'di ba? And pwede natin siyang pag-ipunan tingi-tingi. Okay? Ang importante lang diyan is pag nangyari 'yun sa atin, hindi natin tina-transfer yung problema sa relatives natin or sino yung pag-iwanan natin. Kasi kung hindi natin yung pinaghandaan on our own, yung memorial service natin or even our own casket, of course, yung family natin yung maghanap ng paraan to buy that. And that's going to be a financial burden for them. So, yeah, for me, it's a wise purchase. Okay? Ayan. Ayan, we have here a question from an anonymous attendee. What's the best health and life insurance coverage that you can recommend? So again, balik po tayo no. I think yung life insurance din same siya with investing. Na it is actually personal. So yung health and life insurance coverage ko might not be the best health and life insurance coverage for you. And yung makakatulong po sa inyo diyan are actually your financial advisors, no? So yung mga registered sa insurance commission na pwede silang mag-discuss about insurance sa inyo. So that's beyond my circle of competence. So yung best health and life insurance coverage nyo, yan po yung pag-uusapan nyo ng financial advisor or yung insurance agent ninyo. Okay? So, yan lang. So, to the point lang ng presentation ko, when you get an insurance, make sure lang na you have two, health and life. Kasi hindi mo talaga alam kung what will come first. Okay? And yung coverage niya, yung pwede niyong pagsimulan is 3 to 4 times your gross annual income. Alright? So, yan. Pero normal yun to ask questions, no? Kasi parang as an expert, ano yung maganda for you. But again, balik tayo doon. Investing is personal. Yung best for me might not be the best for you. Here's another question from anonymous attendee. Should I invest in stocks? How are gains tax compared to income gained through employment? Meron po mga tax dito sa stocks. No? Number one is yung selling tax. Okay? So yung selling tax, of course, no, when you sell something, then 0.6% of that is charged as selling tax. Okay, and I think that's standard naman across anything you'd like to sell. Yeah. Tapos, meron din siyang VAT, no? Meron din siyang VAT. 12% of the commission ata, yan yung tax niya. How is it compared to income gained through employment? Magkaiba po yung taxation yan. Kasi ibang computation siya. Okay? Yeah. So I think yung sa income naman, I think right now naka-bracket siya. And depende sa bracket mo, yun yung specific percentage of that. Yun yung kukunin sa'yo if that's your employment income. Okay. Here's another question from anonymous attendee. When can we say that we should cap our savings envelope? If we already have an emergency fund saved up and protections already placed, should I still save or should I be aggressive and make use of the rest for investments and other businesses for income generation? Additional information, user is still below 30 years old. So yan, no? So congratulations no, to the anonymous attendee. Meron na po kayong enough na emergency fund. Tapos meron na kayong protection, meron na kayong insurance coverage already. So congratulations. So pagtapos na po kayo doon na phase, then you move on to investing. Kaya 'di ba yung financial goal setting natin, it's like a triangle, 'di ba? We start first with money management, then protection before we move on to investment. So pag okay na po yung ano ninyo, mas stable na po yung basis ninyo, your money management and protection, pwede na po kayo magiging aggressive sa investing ninyo. Okay? So especially if you're below 30 years old, so you really have time on your side. Kasi sa investing, time is really gold. Kasi the earlier start, mas malaki yung compounding ano niya, mas malaki yung rate of compounding niya. Kasi mas marami kang time, no, na naka-invest yung pera mo. Okay? Ayan. So yan. But for me, no, always, no, yung, for example, emergency fund mo, you always base that on your expenses. No? Hindi lang enough na may pera ka for emergencies, dapat base siya on your expenses. Okay? And yung protection mo, yung insurance mo is all based siya sa gross annual income. Okay? Here's another question from anonymous attendee. How to file income and withheld tax from our dividends? Concerned lang po sa BIR. Covered na po yan siya. Kaya nga when you open an account with us, we get your tax identification number. Kasi ano na rin, I think yung dividends, withheld na rin yan ng corporations who give it out. So sila na po nagbabayad niyan for you. And even yung mga mga withheld taxes ninyo, for example, you get interest income from your bonds, no, na nasa First Metrosec account niyo, kami na rin po magpa-file niyan for you. Ayan. Ayan, here's another question from Vincent. Sorry, it's already 7 now. I can still stay until 8 p.m. No? So keep them coming if you have more questions. Here's a question from Vincent. What are your thoughts on these emerging and aggressive digital banks that offer 2 to 6% interest rates per annum? Depending on the bank offering, some interest rates are higher than money market and even bonds. Yes, no? For me, as long as number one, always, no? Kaya sinasabi ko, like kanina yung question about crypto, meron bang regulating body dyan dito sa Philippines? Kasi pag may nangyari sa atin, meron tayong tatakbuhan. And when it comes to digital banks, ano siya, ang regulating body dyan is the BSP, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. So when you open a digital bank, no, an account with a digital bank, tingnan nyo po kung registered siya sa BSP. Kasi meron yan silang nakalista, meron yan silang mga regulations on how they can give a digital bank license to that specific entity. So number one, tingnan nyo if registered siya with BSP. And doon naman sa tanong nyo about the interest rate per annum na medyo malaki, no? Papaisip tayo kasi higher siya than money market and bonds. No? We have to remember lang na yung business side of things. Kaya nilang magbigay ng medyo mataas na interest rate kasi number one, yung operational expenses nila hindi mataas. Okay, mababa. Kasi nga, they are a digital bank. Hindi nila kailangan ng physical branches. Okay? So, kaya nila magbigay ng medyo mataas na interest rate per annum. So, careful lang din tayo if medyo mataas din siya, no? Higher than your average. Para sa akin, no, always respect the average. No? Anything that deviates from average, we need to ask more questions. Okay? So, but on the business side, kaya nilang ibigay ng mataas na interest rate kasi wala sila masyadong operational expense. Kasi nga, they are a digital bank. Okay? So, but for me, balik tayo dun sa last point ko dito, diversify. So, wag din naman na ilagay nyo lang sa isang bangko, no? So, in one digital bank. Better pa rin na may ilalagay kayo sa digital bank, meron kayo ilagay to a regular bank lang, or pwede din kayo mag-open ng time deposits, no? So, diversify. Now, again, when we diversify, we mitigate risk. Okay? Yan. Here's a question of Racer Reynaldo. How much port account to be able to access FMS Pro? So again po, FMS Pro is is a platform that we designed for active traders na ano siya, they can get data, no, na medyo relevant for them, and if they're active traders, maraming features doon na they can find accessible. So ang ano niya, dalawang qualifications po. First, either makapag-trade kayo ng 100,000 pesos worth na buy and sell transactions niyo in a month, or pwede din na meron kayong 200 pesos na stocks and mutual funds na portfolio. Then eligible na kayo for Pro. So either maka-trade kayo worth 100,000 in a month, both buy and sell nyo na yan both buy and sell nyo na transactions, or second, kung meron kayong 200,000 pesos na portfolio. If you feel na eligible kayo, email nyo yung customer service namin para mabigyan kayo na access. Okay. Here's another question, no? This is from Rani. Aside from diversifying asset classes, is there a clear advantage of having multiple investment or insurance plans from multiple insurance companies? If I have first managed to have an insurance that's lower than 3 to 4 times annual return. Also, can we explicitly declare that RTB is the best option for bonds in the Philippines? Yan. So, multiple questions. So may advantage ba? No, first question niya, may advantage ba to have multiple insurance plans from multiple insurance companies? For me, that's also a good advantage for you. Kasi again, of course, meron tayong mga favorite natin na insurance companies, di ba? Pero of course, no, we can't discount na maraming risk, no? Kasi business din yan siya at the end of the day. So for me, it's also a good idea na meron tayong different insurance from different insurance companies. We're just mitigating the risk kasi hindi natin alam anong mangyayari sa future. Okay? So yeah, so that's your first question. Can we explicitly declare that RTB is the best option for bonds in the Philippines? No sir, no? Yan lang yung binigay ko na example kanina kasi yan yung latest offering ng RTB ng BTR by the government through the Bureau of the Treasury. So I cannot say that is the best option for you kasi for example, if mas gusto mo naman ng higher potential return pero willing ka to take higher risk, then you can go for corporate bonds. Pwede naman 'yon. Okay? Pero if medyo risk averse ka, gusto mo ng medyo low risk na investment, then you can go for government bonds. So to answer your question, I cannot explicitly declare that RTB is the best option for you sa Philippines. Kasi again, depende yan siya sa risk appetite mo. Kasi if kaya mo naman yung risk, no, by investing in corporate na mga bonds, then you can get higher interest rates doon. Okay? So yung best option is yung best for you. Ano ba yung risk tolerance mo? And ano ba yung need mo na rate of return? Okay, you need to identify that. Okay. Ayan, here's a question from an anonymous attendee. Good day, what are some of the equity securities or stocks? Yan po yung pag-uusapan natin sa Friday. Okay, doon na tayo pag-uusapan yung types ng stocks. Okay, Friday, November 4, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Here's another question from anonymous attendee. What's your take po with farm lot investment versus house and lot for rent? Ayan. So again, depende po yun siya sa investment goal ninyo. Kasi kung yung farm lot kasi, pwede niyo naman yung you can grow agriculture naman doon, 'di ba? Of kaya niyo if meron kayong expertise na ganun. Pero yun lang, yung land value ng farm lot usually lower siya than your house and lot na nandito sa city, 'di ba? So yan, depende po sa goal niyo, no? Bakit kayo nag-invest in a farm lot? So siguro pwede kayo mag-generate ng business doon sa farm lot niyo, pwede 'yon. And if gusto mo naman ng rental income from real estate, then you go for a house and lot na pwede niyo iparenta. Okay, so again, it boils down kung ano ba yung goal niyo. Okay, but for me, either of those okay siya. Okay? Kung meron nga kayong opportunity to have both, mas maganda. Kasi having multiple sources of income is better than one or two sources of income na. Ayan, here's a question sa Sir Jumari Suson. Now, when is the right time to invest in stocks? So, yan, no? So, the right time is to actually, the right time to invest in stocks is actually pag depress yung prices. 'Di ba? So, pag bumababa yung stock market, that's actually an opportunity for us to identify ano yung mga fundamentally sound companies or stocks out there na pwede nating bilhin. Okay? That is if long-term investor ka. Pero if you want to optimize your entries to that specific stock, yung downturn niya, opportunity for you to find good companies. Pero yung right time to enter in stocks, yun na po yung pinag-uusapan natin sa best part 3, basic education on stock trading, yung technical analysis. Okay? Kasi dalawa yan dalawang sagot dyan. Right time to invest in stocks over the long term, pag mababa yung presyo niya. Okay? Pero if you want to optimize your entries, pwede natin gamitan ng technical analysis. Hintayin natin, hintayin natin na may signs na binibili na siya. Okay? So nagka-create na siya ng higher lows and higher highs. Sign of an uptrend siya. Ibig sabihin, people are buying it at a much higher price already. So, yan. So, 2 ways to answer your question, Sir Jumari. No? Kung long term, pag bumababa yung stocks, optimize technical analysis. Okay. Here's another question. No? Is it a high percentage of losing all my investments in the stock market if there will be a global recession next year? So, kung may global recession next year, Ano naman po talaga yon, yung market price niya is unrealized profit or loss naman. You will just be taking that loss if you sell it at that price. Kaya nga magandang perspective talaga sa stock market investing is actually long-term talaga, no? Kasi opportunities yung sa'yo every time na bumababa yung presyo. If you're long-term for that stock, you see long-term growth sa company na yan, then every time na bumababa yung presyo is a opportunity for you. Okay? But again, maganda yan na strategy if medyo malalim yung bulsa mo, 'di ba? Kasi you can just keep on buying as it goes low. O kaya nga importante na pwede din natin i-apply yung technical analysis. Kasi sa technical analysis, pwede natin hintayin na magpakita siya ng signs na aakyat na yung presyo. Okay? Before we get into that position. Okay? So, again, unrealized profit or loss naman yan. You only take the loss if you sell it at that price niya currently. Sorry. Okay, it's already 7:56, so we have 4 more minutes. No? I'll try to answer more. Here's a question from anonymous attendee. No? Baka na-miss niya daw, how do we open a First Metrosec account? Hindi, tama po kayo, no? Hindi po accessible right now yung account opening link namin via the website or the First Metrosec app. So ano na lang po, kasi we are in the process of upgrading our infrastructure. Tapos na po yung pag-upgrade ng infrastructure, pero ngayon we're now migrating, no, yung systems namin, yung files namin from the old infrastructure to the new infrastructure, and yan lang po yung nagti-take time right now. So ano lang po, abang-abang na lang po tayo, no? We will notify you sa Facebook page namin pag up na po yung account opening process namin. So ang suggestion ko po sa inyo is while you are waiting for that to be back up online, attend po tayo sa mga learning series natin or sessions natin na for free. Then para at least we'll have more idea before tayo mag-open ng account. Ayan. Here's a question from an anonymous attendee. Any news about short selling sa PSE? Na wala pa po, matagal na, that has been in a long discussion na, and right now wala pa po tayong short selling na guidelines. Okay? So, but hopefully in the future, near future, baka pwede na. Kasi ngayon, 'di ba, we can only earn from capital appreciation. So we can only earn if we get to buy low and sell high. Pero pag short selling, pwede tayong kumita, no? If we are able to buy it at a much higher price than sell it at a lower price. Okay? And yung discussion niyan, we'll have another webinar for that pag okay na yung short selling. Okay? Kasi yung short selling, pag bumaba yung presyo, doon tayo kumikita. Okay? But that will be for another session. Ayan, 4 more questions, no? I think I can answer. Here's a good question, no? If the BSP increases interest rates, is it good for bonds? Will bonds rate also increase? Okay, ha? So again, when the central bank increases interest rates, that's actually their monetary tightening policy. That usually happens pag mataas yung level ng inflation. Okay? And that's what's happening right now. Di ba, napapansin niyo mataas yung inflation natin, medyo elevated siya for quite a long time na, di ba? So ang ginagawa ng central bank ngayon, they're slowly increasing interest rates, di nila pwedeng biglain 'yon. Okay? And what happens kasi pag nag-increase silang ng interest rates, yung interest rate ng mga bonds, yung mga loans ng mga banks, tumataas din. And pag tumataas yung interest rates, people are less likely to borrow money. And when they are not that inclined to borrow money, bumababa yung money supply sa market. And yan yung reason bakit tumataas nila yung interest rate para to curb down inflation. Para kung less money sa system, mas less likely na tataas yung presyo ng mga products and services. And of course, when they set a higher interest rate, usually niyan yung bond rates also increases. Kaya napansin nyo sa RTBs, noon they have RTBs na nasa 2.75%, umakyat siya to 3%, 4%, tapos ngayon 5.75%. So, nag-increase din yung bond rate. Kasi nangyayari niyan, pag mataas din yung bond rates, people are more also, may tendency sila na mag-invest na lang din kasi mataas nga yung rates ng mga bonds. Then when that happens, lumiliit din yung money supply sa country. Again, another impact niya na bumababa yung inflation. Okay? But yung question is, maganda ba siya for bonds? If bagong bond yung binili mo, maganda siya kasi na higher na yung rate than the previous bond na in-issue. Pero if existing bondholder ka, tapos rising interest rate environment ka, negative yung correlation ng interest rates sa bond prices. So as the interest rate, no, kasi nasa denominator yung interest rate, so as the interest rate increases, the bond prices mo decreases. So usually ang nangyayari niyan is nagta-transfer sila to, no, for example, you're a holder of a 7-year bond, no, na ganyan yung rate. Tapos ganyan nangyayari, nag-increase yung interest rate, bumaba yung bond prices mo, usually nag-shift sila to shorter na mga term na mga bonds. Kasi doon nag-increase ng medyo mataas. Okay? So yan, that's another discussion naman for business cycles naman, no. But yeah. If existing bond holder ka, bad siya yung interest rates increase kasi bumababa yung bond price mo. Pero if newly issued siya ng bonds, higher yung rates niya than before. Here's another question from anonymous attendee. We have 4 more questions. I think I can extend. Okay ba sa ngayon yung VUL? For me, no? Again, when you look at the VUL, kasi again, I'm not a financial advisor, hindi ako licensed to discuss anything about VUL. But based on my personal knowledge, yung VUL are good for people na they want an all-in-one product. Na with just one product, they have exposure sa insurance and they also have exposure sa investment. Okay? So, if yan po yung requirement ninyo, then VUL might be a good product for you. Kasi yan yung solution niya. May investment ka na, meron ka pang insurance. Pero it's an insurance first before an investment. Okay, yan lang yung dapat naintindihan natin. But, for example, if you're the type of person naman na may panahon ka to monitor your investments, may mga advantages din if you do it on your own. Na separate yung insurance mo kaysa sa investment mo. And that's what I personally do. Kasi based sa lifestyle ko, nakaka-monitor naman ako sa market. So I can do it on my own rather than through a VUN. Okay? But again, that's because yan yung circumstance ko. It might be different for you na hindi ka nakaka-monitor. Then VUL might be a better product for you than go do it on your own. Okay? So yan. Dami kasing advantages din if you do it on your own. Kasi nga, if you do it your own, then relatively mas cheaper siya. Okay? So, yeah. So, ask more about your insurance agent, tapos try to compare. Here's another question, a follow-up from Sir Vincent. For investing and assets, are real estate excluded from your general examples? Yes, tama po kayo, no? It's just, ano siya, para na-simplify. Di ba napansin niyo doon sa diniscuss ko, I only talked about money market, fixed income, and equity securities. And these are your paper assets, di ba? These are all paper assets, yung mga time deposit, yung mga bonds, yung mga stocks, paper assets yan. But actually, investment din also ang real estate. Pero sa real estate, higher ang ano mo, nasa further siya sa stocks, no? It's higher risk than your stocks and higher risk, pero higher din yung potential return niya. Yun lang, yung sa real estate kasi, number 1 na balakid mo talaga dyan is starting capital. Kasi you have to admit na basta you go into the real estate na industry, kailangan mo ng malaking capital talaga in order for you to start, di ba? Before you can generate rental income. And yun yung advantage kasi may bagong product sa PSE, we call that Real Estate Investment Trust, that you can actually gain, no, dividend income from real estate, no, or income producing na mga real estate assets. Tawag dyan mga REITs, no, Real Estate Investment Trust. So we will discuss that sa Friday, no? So if you want exposure sa real estate pero wala ka pang enough capital to get into real estate, start ka muna with Real Estate Investment Trust. Okay? Yan. But yun, real estate is also a legitimate asset class. Here's a question from Paul, no? Meron bang website showing all upcoming corporate bond offerings? Ano naman, publicly disclosed naman po yung mga corporate bond offerings. So, you'll get notice. Okay? But yun lang, paminsan we don't participate in all. So, select lang din siya. Okay? But if meron po kaming corporate bond offer that we participate, we will notify you. Usually via email. How to subscribe to corporate bonds, again, usually nasa email po yung communication. So pag may mga existing offer for corporate bonds, you'll get an email, tapos respond lang po kayo if you want to subscribe to that offer for corporate bonds. But once na maano siya, once na tapos na po yung process, then you can see it talaga sa First Metrosec account ninyo. You can see your bonds exposure. And yun lang, personally, hindi nila appreciate ko sa First Metrosec kasi you have access na to stocks, to bonds, no? Even to mga mutual funds and UITFs na exposed sa money market, fixed income and equity. So again, if you're building for your growth fund, please consider First Metrosec kasi I think it's one of the best option out there kasi hindi lang kami plain vanilla stockbroker. No? We used to be just a stockbroker, no? Yan yung main business namin. Pero we've extended it na pwede na kayo ma-expose to bonds, government bonds, RTBs, and corporate bonds paminsan, no? Tapos also, no, imagine that, no, kung wala kang time to monitor yung stocks and bonds mo, pwede ka naman mag mutual funds or UITFs, no? Dami naming kine-carry na product. So yung goal talaga namin is to become an investment superhouse, and we hope, no, parang you get parang DIY kit na. Then you can feel free to build your portfolio all in one account, no? Lahat ng investment options mo nandiyan. So I think we've overextended already. It's already 8:07. So I answered lahat ng questions as I can, but I think sobra na tayo sa time. So thank you to the 60 participants who stayed. Thank you then for your compliments. No, we hope to see good feedback from you then also. All right, so ayan, thank you everyone and have a pleasant night ahead. Enjoy your dinners. Bye-bye.
We put your future first. Backed by the Metrobank Group, First Metrosec provides the best service through different tools and platforms. You can invest in multiple assets in pesos and US dollars. Diversify your portfolio with the country's leading managed funds through FundSmart, and gain access to the country's best trading platforms through web or level up with Pro. Plus trade anywhere with First Metrosec Go. All this and more through the trusted and multi-awarded First Metrosec. Easily open your account today. Trading on the go? Here's First Metrosec Go for you. Easily open your account today with this app. You can download the First Metrosec Go app through Play Store or App Store for free. If you already have it on your device, simply open the app and click Sign Up Now. Next, you need to create a user ID, read and agree to the terms, and provide these information. Once you're done, click the link on the email verification sent. Now, let's complete your account application. First, input your account information. Then, provide your user information. Next, accomplish the investor profile form. Almost there! Read and agree to the terms and conditions. Then click Agree. You will then receive your reference number through the app. Don't forget to save this number because you will need it for your initial deposit. Next, upload or take a photo of these requirements. 1 valid ID, 3 signatures on a piece of white paper, proof of address, and proof of bank account. If you're self-employed, there are additional requirements. Now let's fund your account. You can make your initial deposit through bills payment, online fund transfer, over-the-counter deposit, or remittance. The minimum 5,000 pesos or 100 US dollars can be used to invest in stocks, funds, and bonds. There is no maintaining balance required. Next, you will need to verify your identity. Simply take a photo of your ID and take a selfie. We're all set. An email confirmation will be sent to you in 2 to 3 business days. Happy trading! For more information, visit our help center at help.firstmetrosec.com.ph. All the options and convenience within your reach through International Finance's best online broker and best online trading platform for 4 years in a row. With First Metrosec, it's your future first.